options for your Jewish resistances, and we're glad that you chose Beitar. I'm Z Mailer, and I'm here with Hey. Say it again, slow. Okay. Very cool. I don't know. Yoni hooked us up. I know very little about you. So, can you tell me a little about yourself? Cool. Wow. Huh. Well, yeah, I hear that. So, wait, can you let's start with um so why do you think if there's no why is that regime so intent on hating Jews? Right. Well, I mean, is it you tell me, are we talking about Iran? Are we talking about general Islamic culture? Where is the best place to start when you want to start talking about this conflict? Right. Yeah. Tremendous amount of violence. So, I've heard, I heard an argument that suggested that part of this is there is an element to the conflict that is Shia and Sunni, in that because the Sunni control the Mecca, that the Shia want to control Jerusalem. That would give them some sort of emotional or religious claim to superiority. Is there any truth to that? Yeah. Okay. Uh-huh. Is it really? Right. Yeah, they're actually. I'm getting a call from Yoni that he's we're having trouble hearing you, which is a shame because you're. This is fascinating stuff. Is this still there? We're having some trouble hearing you. Yoni, Yoni wrote in that they can't hear you. I can hear you. It's just you're low. So, is there a way we can boost your audio? Let me see if I can do it on this end at all. I've got your volume turned all the way up. Okay, guys, we're working on the on any problem you might have. We're trying to make sure that you guys can hear mic settings. For a moment, it was a lot better. Nah, I'm still. It's still very, very. If you're still faint, if you're, I think it's if you're close to the device, we still pretty low, and I have your audio output settings open. Um, and I'm still getting it. You're still coming in real low. You can't. You can't hear me right now. How about now? Yeah. Yeah, you're just really low. I gotta. What are you? You're streaming on a tablet right now, right? You're using an iPhone or an iPad. Is your iPad on the side, or is it like that and set resting on something? But long ways or sideways? Ah, there you go. For a moment, it was. You like clicked on, and it was great. There you go. Now, perfect. Now it's perfect. Um, all right. So we're talking about right now. You know, I don't think Westerners understand that there is internal conflict and politics that exist within the Muslim world. Oh, it was so close. It was so close. We had him and we lost him. Yep. It's I can hear you very well. It's not as close. The issue is you're frozen right now. Right now I can't see you move. Nope. Okay. Very cool. We're trying to, guys, we're trying. I apologize. I'm a lousy producer. Solid host, terrible producer. Um, Many of you might have seen yesterday if you check my Instagram at ZeeMehler. I was at a rally yesterday for Palestine. Hold on, I got headed up. Let's see. Can I see you moving? I can hear you. Yeah. The question is, can the world hear you? It's technology is awesome, and it also sucks. Um, so wait, hold on. What? How long ago did you come to the U.S.? You've only been in the U.S. a month. Where and before this you were where? You were in China. Where in China? Oh wow. How was that? that was its whole own thing, I'm sure. Um, so you had to escape. You escaped to China, and are you here as a political refugee? Huh? Yoni says it still can't hear. Yeah, I better mute you and unmute you. Yoni keeps texting in. I'm in settings. I'm in his audio settings. Yoni, do you wanna do you Yoni? Do you want to set this up? You're a producer, man. You want to get in on this? How about now, Yoni? You want to get in on this right now so that we can figure this out? Because I'm in his settings. I'm in the audio settings. How you liking the U.S. so far, Hater? Between you and I, because we'll see whoever can hear can hear. While I try and figure it out. Gotcha. Here, try talking now, and let me see if they can hear you.
Okay, anybody? Okay, let's see. Okay, so I guess they can't hear us.
Yeah, and Yodi's like, do the Zoom and then do screen share.
Oh, okay. He still can hear me. Okay.
His computer is updating.
Oh, okay. Okay, hold on. Let me change the. Okay, hold on. I'm using the iPad mic right now. Can he hear me?
He can't. He doesn't seem to be able to hear you. Now he's saying in settings, which I've been going into, right?
Hmm.
Audio input capture.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can go to. I'll go to the
Oh, he
primary.
here. So okay, so the problem is with the headset. Okay, okay, I guess right now. Okay, so you can hear me well, right?
Okay, now we can hear. Now,
So
okay,
you can
good.
hear me. I guess yeah. So you can hear me, right?
Yes, we're all good.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Great.
How about that?
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't even know where to go back to. Okay, so you're living. You're now in the U.S.
Yeah.
You are a political refugee. You aren't. What's your status?
No, I'm not. I was in China as a refugee,
Okay.
not here. Yeah. So I was with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. I was there with them for basically almost 9 years, and they have referred my case to the United States. I met with the U.S. government and did completed the interviews. I got approved as a got basically the second refugee status based on U.S. law. I completed the security and medical clearances, and everything has been completed. And then they give me plane tickets to come here.
That's.
It,
I mean, that's
yeah,
fantastic. I'm glad you're
yeah.
here. I'm glad you got out.
Thank you. Appreciate
What
that.
was what was the thing that you did that put you on the radar there where you had to deal with being attacked?
Well, the war in Iraq, when happened, and when after the war finished, then the Iranian are trying to take control of the country, but slowly, because by then still the multinational forces there. So what they do is they recruit those who are too much of the Islamist side. I'm talking about here Muslim Shia, of course.
Okay.
And they also sent some Iraqis who are living in Iran for a very long time back to Iraq to trying to help in recruiting people. And they targeting a lot of houses. One of these houses that got targeted is my family's house. I was too young. Yeah, I was too young at the time. I guess I was 12 or something years old. And this attack led me to be in the hospital emergency for over 3 months. But afterwards, that some of these got arrested and then went to prison, but they vouch that they will take the revenge, and when they will be set free. And the revenge will be targeting me because I was the youngest in the family. Few years later, around 2006, when the prime minister of Iraq at the time, he's backed by Iran. He says, if I win to be to be in office, they need to be chosen. I will let free all the he's called them Muslims of the prisons, which including these people who attacked us before, me and my family. So that led us to not stay in Iraq and to flee to Egypt. Years later, very long time later, then we decided to come back because I was studying Egypt at the time and I couldn't stay there anymore visa-wise. So came back to Iraq and I was thinking things is better. This was 2015. I didn't expect it in 2014 when the ISIS came to Iraq and Iran officially created their most powerful militia, which they call it the Popular Mobilization Forces, which or stands for the PMF, also known as PMU sometimes. And this organization is extremely powerful, and you can actually think of them as Hezbollah, but in Iraq.
Okay.
Yeah, so they are a parallel to the military of Iraq, the government. And these are doing the Iranian bit in Iraq. Whatever Iran wants, they do it. And this organization basically collects every criminal, Islamist, every the trash. I'm sorry to say that of society, all come
Right. If
go
you're
inside
willing to
this.
do horrible things, they want you involved.
Yeah, yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. So yeah, so they want to. They said we are going to liberate Iraq from the ISIS at the time, and they are using by then the coalition forces using the air to support Iraq's military, and they joined in, and to prove themselves for some time, and then they become basically the balance to the military of the government. And when the government and the US wanted them to be dismantled by then, that's it, the job is over, ISIS is over, they rejected. Okay, and now they have weapons, and they have heavy weapons, by the way. Nobody can do anything. So, because
When you
if you
say heavy weapons, what do you mean by that?
we're talking about infantry fighting vehicles, we're talking about some old tanks that took control of it, we're talking about
Uh huh.
weapons, not light weapons, we're talking about heavy weapons they have. So think of it that Lebanese government, they want Hezbollah to be dismantled, but Hezbollah says, I will not, what they can do here, and there's a war here, right? So between the Lebanese military and Hezbollah, and it is the same thing here. So what the government do is just to in Iraq just to buy time, trying to make them happy and buy time. So I went a bit far to explain that, but the criminals who attacked me once, they are a part of this organization. Okay, so they are above the law. Whatever they do, I will simply be out without nobody do anything about it.
So
So
what? I guess here's the part that I'm struggling to understand. Um, how many people like you are there out there? People who at a young age were targeted by this kind of organization
a
and
lot,
displaced by it.
a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot. But the difference is some of them already dead. The attack was not simple. Some of them is as let's say medium, as injured as me at the time. Some of them just disappeared. You don't know, because it depends on what they want. It depends on what they want to prove. They want to prove a point, or they just want to revenge. At the time, in 2015 and 2016, actually, when I fled, is I was targeted. I have been sent messages, envelopes with bullets. I have been targeted by them, and at the time, I couldn't stay there anymore because I'm also a former Muslim. So this is a golden card for them to use. Oh, he left Islam. He targeting the Islam as a religion and targeting the God or targeting whatever reason they could use. So this is very easy for them. Nobody even will question it. Nobody even will investigate it because they will use any card they want, blame it on me. At the time also I have an activism against Iran, so this is a bonus card for them, like a salad. So they will target me. By then I remember I have a phone call from one of my cousins, and he told me that your family also have given up on you. They were here on the tribe and they also given up on you. And the tribe currently searching for you. So at the time there was, three sides are searching for me. My own tribe, these two criminals who are right now part of Iranian's regime militia, and also the government, because the government can simply send a search warrant for me to arrest warrant, sorry, to arrest me for blasphemy, and also against Iran. So I was having these 24 hours to flee. I mean, I was calculating as 24 hours, otherwise I'm disappeared. But I managed, thanks to my wife, and managed to flee from the country.
And
And the
so
last
you've been fleeing with a family, not just
No,
yourself.
no, no, no. My wife is Chinese. She's not
Oh,
Iraqi.
okay.
And
Okay.
thanks to her, I was having a visa on the passport, and this managed me to get me out from the country.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
Um, there's so much to unpack here.
Yeah.
From the place where what happened to you and your family is just that's horrific. I don't understand where the outrage is about that stuff. Like, why are people not marching in the streets and gathering in at colleges to talk about the kind of thing that's happening to your people? Um, to where you say that you feel like you're former Muslim, right? So do you consider yourself an ex-Muslim?
Yes, I am not anti-religion, any religion, including Islam, but I don't find myself into believing in it.
I gotcha.
So this is a problem in the Middle East we have, and even North African region, that if you are open-minded person, regardless whether you will leave the religion or you stay in it, even you stay in it is fine. But if you are open-minded, you are considered not a part of us. That's a problem that we have in the Middle East. It's similar when you're talking about the Jews and Israel. Also, the history books also doesn't allow you to have a different opinion here, because different opinion you're outside the pack.
Right.
So yeah, so this is also a problem. So by example, some of the people I remember a few a year or 2 years ago, they say to me, you're supporting Israel really strong and the Jews, but isn't that a danger for you in Iraq? I mean, seriously, if I'm in Iraq, I will not be supporting Israel because I'm dead, as good as dead. So especially that in May of 2022. Iraq's parliament at the time, this is the golden time of Abraham Accords. Just 2 years ago happened. People think about talking about peace and this kind of thing, and then Iraq comes in and released this law by drafted by the Iranian regime-backed parties in the parliament, and this law in May of 2022 says any Iraqi who talk with Israelis or Jews, or cooperate with them, or appear with them on their social media, can be either executed or the minimum life imprisonment. So Iraq, instead of opening up more, it closed even further. It closed up more and more and more, which is really weird considering we are in the 21st century, and these problems of being anti-Semitism and the Jew hate should be decreased, not increased. This is
Right.
very, very weird. But that's Iran. That's what Iran wants. Yeah.
Wow. Tell me a little about when you talk about your tribe. What do you mean? How does that work exactly? What do you mean by tribe? Is that an extended family? Is that what does that
And
mean?
we in Iraq and a lot of Arabic countries, they have the tribe system. Yes, it's extended type of family. It's
Okay.
not only a cousin and uncle and aunt. No, it's farther than that. Each family, they are related to a tribe, and this tribe is, think of them, they set rules and within the family. And whenever you have a problem with another, let's say, neighbor or something that went big, then to solve it, you go back to the tribe and make the big heads in the tribe, the leaders of the tribes, to fix it up, to solve the problems up.
I
This
gotcha.
kind of thing. Yeah, people more into solving problems or creating ones, sure, through the tribe rather than going to the government and court and this kind of thing.
I mean, the truth is, we have Judaism operates under a very similar system. Um, the difference becomes that we consider ourselves a singular tribe, right? Where if you have a problem within the tribe, you go to a Beit Din, right, which is people who are big in the community who would be reasonable to judge an issue. It's fascinating because I really one of the things that's really bothered me is we're cousins essentially,
Correct.
and
Same religion.
no one fights quite as bad as family fights, right?
Right.
But it bothers me that we have this familiar relationship, and yet it's the most contentious relationship on the planet, right? The Muslims and Arabs and Jews. Um, how do we? What are your thoughts on what's a way? You've got all these
To
people
solve it.
indoctrinated. How do we begin to heal that rift?
Okay, so we don't have anymore the Nazis who's brainwashing the people. We don't have the Soviet Union. We have the Iran, but Iran is weaker right now. But before we go to Iran, let's talk about which country made peace first with Israel. Here is Egypt, right? They signed the peace, but it's some of the Jews told me this is basically a ceasefire, it's not a peace.
Right.
And actually, I agree with it. I lived in Egypt for also a few years, and I was in high school there and university. And during my high school, I read the history books, and the history books there attacking Israel and the Jews, and keep mentioning the Zionists. So, if I made peace with you, I will not keep brainwashing my kids that you are my enemy. So they are keeping brainwashing the people that Israel is still the enemy. So here, from 19 what 73 something until now, you're with we have a peace deal agreement with Egypt, but the Egyptians are still getting brainwashed that you are their enemy. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, it's a waste of all these centuries have been passed. It's instead of raising a generation hate-free, you just keep brainwashing them how the Jews and Israel are your enemy, and one day we're gonna fight again. But I guess because Egypt dictatorship before, and well, even now, but I mean at the time, so I guess a standard Middle Eastern style or Arab style, which is I will keep my people thinking that there is an outsider enemy there, rather than they will think I am the enemy here. So keep brainwashing them, push them away. So but if you compare the peace that happened between the UAE and Israel is different because the UAE much more open-minded, and the Jews can simply go there, walk in the street, and practice religion, Judaism there. I didn't go there myself and saw it, but according to what I hear, and I
That's what I
believe
hear
that
too
is
from people who've gone.
right.
Yeah.
So, but you did hear that after October 7th massacre of innocent Jews happened, there's a lot of Jews got attacked in Egypt.
Right.
Because, and I doubt it, you're gonna go into Egypt and tell them that you are Jewish. I mean, simply, I doubt it. People, the Jews will do that.
No,
But I
in
guess
fact, I was in Petra, right? I did one of those pet trips to Jordan, so I could see Petra. And when
oh,
you do not let them know, even though you're
see,
coming from a tour from Israel, you are as officially you are an American, not a Jew.
so see, this is here's the problem. So Jordan and Egypt is the same thing here. They did the exact same thing, the same type of, well, let's say the peace agreement,
Hmm.
but it's different from Bahrain and UAE's type.
Right.
Bahrain and UAE doesn't have a war with Israel. They just decided one day I want to make peace with you. But the other side, Jordan and Egypt, were at war with Israel and they want to make a forced type of peace. So what I think to solve the problem here is the education system. So the UAE got used to these people got raised to with a much more open-minded type of education, and right now their government are trying to tell them that we made peace with Israel and the Jews, and we want coexistence between both of us, and their people are more willing to accept this because their education books are not hate-filled, but Jordan and Egypt is. So I want to add a point here. By example, in Iraq, we have this before the war and during Saddam's dictatorship. Our history books talking about how much Jews and Israel are bad and how much Saddam's good. But after the war, the Saddam fall. So what they did, they edited, rewritten the history books. But here, what they did, simply take Saddam out and left the rest. So yeah, right. So they didn't change a lot actually. So this is a bit of uh, um, weird to say. So, oh, sorry.
No worries.
Sorry, it's my daughter. So, so they actually didn't change a lot from Iraq. So it's actually need to happen the same thing. You know, all you need to do is education, education for the next generation. So if you raise a new generation hate free, we have peace. So it's fine. By example, Iraq could today sign a peace agreement with Israel. I will not tell you the current generation will not hate Israel. No, they will continue hating Israel. Probably they will not be against it. But the next generation, when they go to school, and then they will learn that, oh, the Israel and the Jews are not enemy. When they grow, they will be more willing to accept Israel than this current generation. So it's all starts with the education. Sorry, I can't hear you. I can't hear you now.
There we go. So it's a
Yeah,
matter
yeah.
of it's really just a matter of it's education and time.
That's correct. Education.
Uh,
Because, there's some people saying that, it's because of Islam and Islam need to be reformed. Sure, yes, Islam need to be reformed. But I don't need to stick myself for the Islam to be reformed because otherwise this we don't know what's going to happen. But look at UAE. They didn't need it. They didn't reform the Islam. They simply accepted the peace. So we just go ahead to the UAE's example. We move forward to that example and we'll have peace in all our region. But the problem is here we have issue of how we can make that happen when Iran's Shia, right, and Turkey and Qatar is pushing both sides, the Shia, the Muslim Sunni, into keep hating Israel and the Jews. So we can't. This pressure into a country like Iraq, where the majority are Shia, pressured by the Iran, and a country like Syria right now, majority Sunni, will be pressured by Turkey into rejecting peace. So we will not have a peace here.
do,
You know.
do you think that the ability for a lasting peace between the Arab world and Israel has the ability to exist as long as there is conflict between the Shia and the Sunni?
Well, the Shia and the Sunni both are each side who want to be in the lead want have to mention how the Israel and the Jews are. Oh, sorry, hold on a moment. Sorry. So Israel and the Jews are always been used as a card by both Iran and Turkey and Qatar. Here I'm all the time mentioning Turkey and Qatar because they are the same page.
Right.
Yeah. So they and from one side and Iran from the other side, both using the Jews and Israel as a card to brainwash their people, and then we have enemy, and the enemy is here is Israel and the Jews. So the solution here is to stop that, For Turkey is right now controlled by a dictator. Okay, and who want to expand Turkey, resume, bring back the Ottoman Empire from the grave, basically. And
So
meanwhile, we have another problem here, which is Iranian regime, who's trying also to do the same thing and expand their influence and controlling capital. A lot of Arab capitals, they already control four. I mean, they lost one, but still, we have a problem with that. And
is there the as I understand, I dated an Iranian Jew for a while,
yeah,
so I got a baseline education about Iran. Um, it's my understanding that Iranians are not Arabs. They're their own kind of group. Is that
they are
correct?
Persians. That's Persian. Yeah, they are
They're
not Arabs.
Persians,
Yes,
right?
the
So
Persians. Yeah.
is there an element there where, like, how would why is the Arab world allowing itself to be controlled by a Persian group?
Because of the using the card of Islam,
I gotcha.
specifically Shia,
Uh huh.
because we don't have a Shia power here. We do have a majority Shia in a lot of countries like Iraq and Iran and such, and even Bahrain, but we don't have the powerful leader of the Shia. So Iran comes in to give it because they are saying that the Sunni are leading the power is Saudi Arabia. So I am your power here to balance it. So yeah, so using this card.
I gotcha. Have you? How did you? Clearly you're very educated. Your English is fantastic, by the way.
Thank
Um,
you.
I assume you speak fairly passable Chinese,
Basic, yes.
right?
Mm.
How is it that you came to be as educated as you are?
Well, I studied for English. I studied foreign languages and translation English department in Egypt. But for education, I read a lot. I research a lot, and we've been through the war in Iraq, and Iraq is actually reading and a lot of politics and this the war, the countless endless wars in Iraq. And then for me, I've been through even more. So I
Are you a dad, by the way?
I am a dad. I
Oh,
have a little girl here.
that's amazing.
Okay.
Isn't it awesome? Isn't it cool to be a father?
It's cool to be a father, and it's cooler when you raise a new generation hate-free. My daughter doesn't hate the Jews and Israel. She's 2 years, almost 3 years, but I all the time take her out with me. She's holding the flag of Israel. She's not gonna end up. Yeah, she's gonna be the new generation that I actually hope for.
We lost you. Here you are.
Should end up, like my daughter, hate-free. But in the Middle East, the people concentrating more on continue a warfare and rather instead of peace and development. And thanks to Iran and Turkey.
Yeah, I hear that. Have you been to Israel? I mean, I guess not. You've not been to Israel.
No, I have not. No, I have not. I have been almost in 9 years in China as a refugee before I came here as a legal refugee to the U.S. So no, I did
Uh,
not travel. Yeah.
so I guess I'll tell you one of the things we do here in America because we don't we have the privilege of not having to be in active war is we ask ourselves like where do we want to be in 5 years. So now that you're here in America and you're becoming American, where would you like to see yourself in 5 years from now?
Actually, I hope to see myself in Middle East and visiting Israel. And when I go to Israel and go to the Israeli capital, Jerusalem, I will find Iraq's flag waving there because there's an embassy. I want to see peace here. I want a region that will be, I don't want wars in this region. This region keep having wars and wars, and they can simply have peace and coexistence and economic developments. So regardless of your the nationality of which country you are, the country deserves peace. The country deserves so if we raised the new generation of in Middle East that they don't need to hate the Jews, we will have peace in the Middle East. And in 5 years, I think that we will have Abraham Accords 2.0, Abraham Accords 3.0. There more and more countries will join peace, and we will have peace in the Middle East between Israel and between her neighbors. So I really hope to see that.
I do too, my lord. So what should I tell? Tell me. I go to these protests. I see white Americans who are talking about genocide, colonialism, and all this stuff in Israel. What do I say to them to try and express how complicated the situation is and how they're really on the wrong side of history?
Okay, that's actually a great point. I remember when October 7th massacre happened, and after a few weeks later, I was telling that I was expecting a lot of protests in the Arab world, in the Middle East and North Africa, to be against the Jews and Israel. Because I'm sorry about it, but this is reality, right? Reality. When the attack happened, there's a protest should be about how strong Hamas is, these terrorists. But and then when Israel began to retaliate, defending its citizens, and then there should be a protest to say how Israelis are a genocidal, right? That's my expectations. That what should happen. But instead, it didn't happen in the Middle East. It happened in the street of the West, which is very, very weird because in the Middle East, not all of the countries make peace with Israel. So when you see something like this, it's just totally normal. But in the street of the West, where the countries are already made peace and have, not made peace, well, it's more than that. There's Israeli embassies in every basically Western country. So and their education is not to hate to raise the generations hating the Jews and Israelis. So when I will see protests like that in the Western street, it's really got me questioning what's happening here.
Right?
So when I found out the Jews saying, the most safest place for the Jews is Israel, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. But actually, I want to add to it is actually probably is Middle East in general is better region and safer. for the
Yeah.
Jews, than the West. That's because the Western countries, you have freedom to do whatever you want. But I think the problem is there's a lot of people get influenced by the media, and the Qatari media is extremely powerful, and this powerful lead them to both brainwashing some and paying some. And this lead to what you see in the street right now when there is this pro Hamas. I mean, if there's people want to protest saying, well, we are supporting the Palestinians, go ahead. This is freedom, right? They can do whatever they want. But to support a terrorist organization, that is a
Right.
different thing, right?
I always
So
argue that, like, if you're pro-Palestinian, you should be anti-Hamas.
that's correct. Hamas is killing the people there. They're murdering the people in Gaza. And this Gaza that have been into control by these terrorists for a very long time. And these terrorists getting the people of Gaza from war to another. Isn't Israel are hiring thousands of Gazans to work in Israel and getting not one of the highest, actually the highest salaries that for somebody in the Middle East, they're getting it in Israel. The Palestinians getting it
Mhm.
in Israel. Not Iraqis or Saudi Arabians. It's the salaries that the Palestinians, the Gazans, getting in Israel. So actually the people of Gaza is benefiting from this. So Hamas doesn't really, care about that. I don't care. I'm caring what about, make money in my pockets through Qatar and Turkey rather than
Well,
let the
sure, it's
people.
great to live in Dohi Plaza, right? Like, that's a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
life.
exactly, right? So
You
for
just have
them,
to
it's
be a billionaire and be stealing that money from aid for your people.
true, right? So this is the problem here we have. So the more time passes, the more Hamas becomes stronger because of the financial and the media coverage they get from Qatar and other countries, and this will lead to problems for the people of Gaza. And when there's a fight comes in, it's time for a fight, right? So go ahead. The Hamas terrorists launch an attack on Israel, and then when they do that, then the people of Gaza is the one who's going to face the consequences. And they're hiding behind. When the war happened, I don't remember. I saw a video. They're wearing their military costumes. I only saw it when they're, returning some of the hostages back.
Right.
Yeah.
Because,
So,
I
yeah,
am currently in a conflict with a Palestinian American who lives in my city, which is Milwaukee. And
yeah,
one of the things that always strikes me as funny is he wears like pseudo military garb with like
yeah.
patches on, like he's cosplaying as a jihadi here in America. And I think that's hilarious. I mean, it's sad and scary, but hilarious.
Well, it is hilarious because if they wanted to join Hamas, go ahead, go to
Right.
Gaza. If you
Yeah.
want,
Go on
if you
over.
think, right, yeah, if you think that Israel is genociding them, go to prove it instead of showing some toys in your hand. These people are. It depends. Some people are actually get paid to drag this to recruit and then drag this protest, and some people are simply brainwashed. I mean, I was expecting that to happen in the Middle East, but here, as I said, it's a question mark for me. When I arrived to the US just 1 month ago, and I saw them, is just I'm speechless. They even don't know Middle East, and some of them are trying to tell me what Middle East because they don't know I am an Arab and Iraqi, and I just came from Middle East. They're trying to tell me what's the Middle East look like.
Right. They're going to
So
tell you what you don't understand about the Middle East. That's so
yes,
it's the most American college thing ever.
yeah, so you want to tell me what it looks like there? It just it doesn't make any sense. And they said, oh, Israel and the Jews they want killing. And I'm telling them, I'm an Arab. I want peace. We don't want wars. Okay, you cannot just listen to some people or some channel and then go ahead to generalize it at everybody. Not everybody. No, people want peace, but they don't take that. No, you don't know. Yeah, I don't know. What I don't know. I came from it just now. I mean, it doesn't make sense for me.
Like, I've seen it with my own eyes. I've been there.
Yes,
Um,
because I am Iraqi. We have been through wars, countless wars, enough wars. We know one piece. Everybody in the Middle East want peace. Actually, the Middle Eastern and Arabs just simply want to live. Want to work, want have a salary, pay for their families, live in peace. They don't want wars. The dictatorships drag them from one to another. So when we have right now the chance to make peace, we should go not walk towards it. We should run towards it, because this end this cycle of conflict this 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 Palestinian problem didn't get solved since 1948, and I doubt it's going to be solved anytime soon, because as long as Gaza controlled by Hamas terrorists, it's not going to be solved. Because what's in it for them? What's in it for them? To be honest, I mean, in 2020, they were able to have a country with the first Trump's administration. They simply rejected. They all the time rejecting him because this is not good for Hamas, right? This is not good for Hamas because
Right.
Hamas making money through this. They don't want that, so it's not gonna happen. They got the deal of what 100, 200,000, $200 billion will be invested in Gaza. They didn't want it. They want a war. Yeah, they want a few $1 million goes to the pockets of Hamas leaders rather than the people of Gaza. All of them can live in peace. That's how it works. No.
It's a real. It's very tough. It
It
is. There's I welcome to the US where it feels like going insane because people with no idea about what's really going on think they know a lot and are going to explain it.
mm.
It's been very difficult the past year, but I don't want to bitch to you cuz you've had like a whole lifetime of very difficult, it sounds like.
well. I think that for the Middle Eastern, to be honest, I have to be just a bit clarify. I'm sorry, no, no. Okay, so to clarify some point, which is a lot of Americans and Jews and even Israelis, they says, we don't have this many Middle Eastern, let alone Iraqi, to support Israel and the Jews. So actually, I think, this is different views right now here in the US. You'll find out the any Middle Eastern comes, any Arab comes in, you go ahead to join the pro Hamas protest. It's automatic, So this is standard thing happens, but I'm not, because I'm a believer on peace. Peace will happen. Peace will come. Or rather, these people, these pro Hamas, want it or not, is gonna happen anyhow, because the majority of people right now, yes, brainwashed. I mean, the simple people in the Middle East, yes, they are still brainwashed by they hate Israel and the Jews, but they want just to leave. So when they get the deal of leaving and have a better life, they will take it. As long as we, because you cannot force a generation raised to hate Jews to simply change into, oh, I love the Jews right now in Israel. This
Right.
isn't gonna happen. But they could get a deal to have a better life. They will take that deal, and the next generation will be raised Jew hate free. So
That is
here
my
we have
hope. Is my hope is that they'll get the economic opportunities that exist in Israel will be provided to Palestinians. They'll be able to grow up in peace and prosperity, and over time find ways to interact and be in a peaceful relationship with their neighbors.
they do have the deal. They should have taken the deal. But if right now the conflict is even frozen right now, let's say the ceasefire, if it's continued, basically didn't change much. It didn't change much. We're gonna say, oh, the pro Hamas will say Hamas won, right? You know what? Yes, Hamas won. Hamas won how? By staying in power. That's how they won. Not won by the conflict. Like, no, they won by staying in power because this war should have finished by Hamas out. So both the Jews and Israel have peace, and Gazans also have peace. So if this war ended and the ceasefire continued this way with Hamas in power, then we didn't change much. But if this now, the question will be, if this ceasefire become, let's say, permanent. Well, it's not going to be permanent, but let's just say it's permanent for a few years before Hamas will try again another October 7th. Okay, so here what's going to happen is simple, is we, as I'm not talking about you here, we as Arabs should go forward to another Abraham Accords 2.0. And here the Palestinians, by the way, are going to say again, no, we don't want a country again. So I believe that if the Palestinians doesn't want a country, and here I'm not gonna talk about the majority of Palestine, I'm talking about the one who's in power, right? Hamas. So what we're going to do is simply escape Palestinians. Think of UAE, think of Bahrain, think of Morocco. For me as Iraqi, if I'm right now, if I can't make a decision for Iraq right now, I'm going to tell you I will tell the Palestinian, go make peace so I can make peace. The Palestinian will say simply, no, I don't want peace. I want all of the cake, you know? So in this situation, I would say, okay, you have the right to do whatever you want, to say whatever you want. But I'm not gonna wait for you forever. It's enough since 1948, Iraq here, waiting. Okay? I will simply skip you or go to make peace. You can wait forever. You can wait another year or for eternity. It's fine. But I will make peace because that's what's gonna benefit my country. That's what's gonna benefit Iraq. The economic development with Israel is gonna benefit Iraq a lot. Iraq, the Israel has the technology to benefit Iraq a lot, and Israel have the water. We have actually
Right.
problem of water in Iraq right now. Because the water comes from Turkey, and Turkey right now blocking that,
Right. That's a lot
reducing
of power
Iraq's.
to give another region.
Yeah, yeah. So the Iraq can benefit from the technologies and the water technologies that and for the farms in Israel, Iraq can benefit a lot because the war doesn't benefit Iraq right now. What war is going to happen? To launch a couple of drones that basically fall in Syria. It's just I am speechless to the situation right now. You could benefit instead of just like this, you know.
I'll tell you, it's guys like you that give me hope, right? It's been such a brutal year with this, and knowing that there are people like you out there that are advocating for a peaceful resolution, that are advocating on behalf of your people rather than the leaders that are just absorbing the money. That's what gives me hope in this world.
Well, peace must come, and somebody must take the first step, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so what I want, what I want to do, I want to tell that the Israelis and the Jews in general, you guys, not everybody in Iraq hates you, okay?
Oh,
And there is people. I mean, I'm an example that is want peace, right? And we want peace. So one day, I'm pretty sure that Iraq will join it. And right now, Abraham Accords 2.0 is coming soon. I doubt Iraq right now will be in, but I'm sure that one day Iraq will be in. So that's
I
why I'm
hope so.
hoping for it.
And Habibi, I have to tell you, it's so good getting to know you.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Um,
Thank you.
is there as we kind of close up? Is there any last thoughts you'd like to leave people with?
Well, I want to say that for the protests, that you mentioned, I want to say to the standard American people, you should not fall for that because if you feel sorry for the Palestinians, you should free them from Hamas. You should free them from the terrorists because you need to remember that in 2014, when ISIS came to Iraq, they did the exact same thing, okay, that Hamas did in October 7th to Iraqi people. But by then, the American people and the coalition forces, international community, all of it, they came to help Iraq. They created the coalition forces, which basically exist until today. They fought hard, and by then ISIS controlling Mosul, and the city, the north west of Iraq. The city has been destroyed completely, worse than Gaza, destroyed. But it's a must to liberate it from ISIS because who will hide in the civilian houses, right? So the coalition forces led by the U.S. liberated Iraq from ISIS, brought the hostages back home, freed Iraq from ISIS. But on October 7th, this did not happen. I was waiting for another coalition forces to help Israel because Israel, you're going to tell me Israel is not Iraq, they have a military, they can defend themselves. Yes, but Hamas did worse than ISIS, and Hamas wants more than just Israel. Hamas participated in the civil war of 2006 2007 in Iraq. Hamas is a threat for all of the Middle East. So, what they did in October 7th of the barbarism, this is against humanity, not against Israelis only. So, I was expecting a coalition force. It didn't happen. So, that for them, the standard American people who are simply brainwashed by that, you should go on the street. Go ahead, do what you want. You can be pro-Palestinian, but do not be pro-Hamas. Do not, because you didn't be pro-ISIS. Don't be pro Hamas. See, the be don't be double standard.
Right.
Okay, yeah, just because they are Jews.
I and it's appreciated. Is there a thing that we in the U.S. can do to support the what's going on with your people? Is there a way that we can be helpful?
To you talking about Iraq?
Yes.
Well, Iran is a problem in Iraq. Iran is a problem. More sanctions and the dismantling of their terrorist militias in Iraq, which is the PMU, the Popular Mobilization Forces, or also known as the Popular Mobilization Units. It has to be dismantled. This is the only way. Otherwise, Iraq is being lost. Don't forget, American people lost a lot of their soldiers and invested billions of dollars in this war to liberate the Iraqi people from dictatorship. Don't give it on a golden plate to the Iranian regime. Don't do that. This is a problem for the Iraqi people.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you coming on. We got to do this again.
Of course, of
It's
course.
so good
My
meeting you.
pleasure.
So good getting to know you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you.
It's really good to talk to you.